speaking affirmations over yourself. The more you hear it, the more you believe that it's true.
And welcome to Premier Fitness. I'm Gene Williams, your yoga instructor, and I'm here to tell you about the benefits of yoga.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining our show. You have just tuned in to Where is the Love? I am your host, and I am Stephanie Hockenholm, and joining me is my son, my co-host, Gene Williams.
Oh, hi. We're back.
I just remembered I forgot to put in my earbuds, so I'll do that in just a second. And so hopefully on your end, everything goes well. But I know when my heater come on, I'm right up under it. Right. So it'll be noisy. So on Where is the Love, we talk about bullying versus love. And last week on our show, episode 39.
That's crazy.
We talked about presumption and listening. We also talked about the two crazy people again.
Hey, listen, I took off my straight jacket, okay? I turned it around. Now I'm no longer hugging myself.
He said, oh, maybe that was a presumption on my part. We both escaped from the mental house. Here we is. Not here we are. Here we is. We in this piece. I see you. You can't hide. Okay, so we talked about presumption and listening. And on the last show, we also started talking about self-talk. What do you say about yourself? What do you say to yourself about you? What do you believe that other people are saying about you? So that's what we talked about. And we shared, we're going to keep talking about self-talk today because it's very important. What you hear, what you believe, what you say, what you repeat, about you, what you think about you. So today, like I said, we're going to talk some more about that. So this is episode 40. 40.
Wow.
Hi, y'all.
Wow.
So, y'all, listen. We started last April, and so now we are on episode 40, where we have been talking about so many different things pertaining to bullying. There's so many things attached to bullying, and those are the things we've been talking about. We talked about the narcissist a lot. We learned a lot about the narcissist. So many things. We've learned there's so much. Guess what? We have a YouTube channel, Love Misunderstood Institute. Go to the YouTube channel and you can look at any of the episodes. Most of them, except for the last few, has details, tells you the name of the topic of the show. And so you can just watch the topics, look at the topics, click on it, watch the video, learn what we've been discussing. It's been a lot, but it's been very helpful to us, and we hope so with you as well. So you want to add anything?
Man, you said everything I was going to say. Definitely excited about 40, and it's almost been a year. It's a blessing. Yep. We learned a lot about what you brought up as well, and then also other borderline personality disorders and things of that sort. The sociopath. We talked about owning our power. Several different ways. Man, it's just wow. I can't to look at the catalog. It's gonna be crazy. I have to go back and look at it.
It's been a lot. It's been very helpful to us. We have both grown so much in the last year. with the information that we've learned. And so we become different people.
Right.
We ain't who we used to be.
Yeah, I know.
Now we are not. We ain't the people we used to be. We are both Jack and the Beanstalk. Oh, no. Yeah, we've done a lot. We've talked about a lot.
Been through a lot.
Oh, heck yes. Heck yes.
Still kicking butt and taking names.
Right. See?
You see how I did that? I switched it around on you.
So now,
for a second though, I was like, oh.
So now today, with our self-talk, we're gonna start out with Gene. I'll let you start out.
Yeah.
I've been talking, so you go ahead and start. I'm gonna put my earplugs on. I don't want to get any interruptions. Go ahead.
Sure. So this is actually a very, very important topic to me, as everything we talk about. But this one is major because I hear, people that I train, people that I'm around often, say negative things about themselves, feed themselves constant negative energy. And we also tend to joke, quote unquote, and say negative things about ourselves. Oh,
Yep.
Oh man, I ain't wrapped too tight.
Yep.
And it's a joke. But the reason why the jokes are funny, if you ever listen to documentaries of comedy, the jokes are funny because they have some element of truth in them.
Yeah.
You flowered it out to make it, more palpable. But the fact is, there's some part of you that believes what you say when you say those negative things. So it's very important that even those things, don't joke negatively about yourself.
Yep.
Watch how you speak to yourself. It creates the world around you, creates your life. So it's very important. Like I said, this is a topic that personally I deal with a lot. I have to check myself on how I talk about myself and how I just allow others to talk to me, deal with me, things of that sort, and replacing those negative things with positive loops.
Right. And so to add to that, also what the things that we say about ourselves, we birth those things.
Yep.
So they have to come to life because that's what we spoke. So Mark said positive and negative.
Yes,
so people are batteries.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big conversation there, but he's very right though.
Yeah. So we have to be very aware of what we're saying and be very, very aware that what you say will come to life because that is the life that you spoke.
Life and death are in the power of the tongue.
Yes. Yes.
And other holy scriptures, holy writs say the same thing in a different way. So we have power. As a man thinketh, so is he.
And so also, we said this on the last show, but, based on what we just said, we are creators of the creator. And so we create words by things we say. So he said, let there be light, and there was. We say, I ain't wrapped too tight. So then you're not wrapped too tight. So things, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and so you say that, and it becomes a habit. You repeat it in your mind over and over again. You repeat it from your mouth again, over and over again. And then the universe curves to create that reality for you because you say it so much, you believe it. So then it's your truth.
Yeah.
The world bends to make that a reality for you. So again, you have to be very cognizant, very judicious about the words you use, especially as it pertains to yourself.
Yeah.
Building your own world with the words that you use.
Yeah. And at the same time, the things that we say about other people, to them, those things are going to come to life as well. So, and we make, if they believe those things that we say, like, man, you crazy, not like, man, you are, I'm saying crazy, but I mean, we say you're crazy, like you're crazy funny. But like if you're talking about like psycho crazy,
Right.
if that person believes that, if they hear it enough, they start believing it,
Right.
and then that happens as well. So it's so important to watch what we say about other people as well, and what we're feeding them, because what we feed them, if they eat it, then it's going to be so.
Right.
Crazy people are the politicians. Most crazy people are really sane.
Mhm.
Mark, you a mess. Go ahead, Gene.
All right. So we're going to discuss today how to change your self-talk. All right. So even harsh self-talk can be effectively challenged and sidelined. Becoming consciously aware of its role is the first step. Then some simple and straightforward self-help techniques can be useful, such as rehearsing a more constructive inner voice with more positive tones and learning to address oneself in the third person. Using one's name instead of I during moments of inner dialogue. Research has found can create useful psychological distance from the emotional intensity of the self, enabling one to avoid rumination and move forward with greater perspective, calm, and confidence. So you take, in essence, what it was saying is that you're taking the problem outside of yourself into like a board where you're breaking it down, you know, uh, logically,
Mm-hmm.
and then repeating things in a way that's going to be helpful as opposed to being detrimental to your health.
Yeah.
All right. So how can I change a negative inner voice? To overcome toxic self-criticism, pay close attention to your thoughts to detect negativity when it arises, and then either try to distract yourself or challenge the self-criticism by considering whether it's even true. Because often it isn't. Then replace exaggeratedly negative thoughts with more realistic statements that move you toward self-acceptance and confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to add to that. So the battle is in our mind. Our mind is a battlefield. We constantly battle with our thoughts.
Right.
And then when other people say things about us and we believe those things, then the battle, would the word be heightens?
Right. Right.
Yeah, because you've been dealing with your own thoughts,
Right.
and and negative inner voice, and now somebody else has brought theirs on, and so now it's doubled or
Right.
tripled, but the battle is more intensified because of our own thoughts about us and others thoughts about us. So that battlefield, you have to pay attention to the negative thoughts, and replace those negative thoughts with, like he read, with more realistic statements,
Right.
that move us towards self-acceptance and confidence. We have to encourage ourselves. That's very important. So I wanted to add that.
Right. Yep. All right. So how can I stop beating myself up? To stop beating yourself up once and for all, it's important to distance yourself from an inner critic, perhaps by naming it and addressing it directly. Research suggests that separating the critical voice from your own identity helps you free yourself from it. You can then introduce a new inner voice that is an ally who consciously seeks, notices, and focuses on more of the good things about yourself. And I love that because it's with that you're taking power of even the inner voice.
Yep.
Allowing the tape that plays over and over in your head be something that's edifying you.
Yes.
As opposed to destroying you. Yeah, I love that. That's a great tip.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we talked about that before. Consciously replacing that loop in your head.
Yep. And if you're not how did it say if you're not saying it out loud? How did it say it if you're not addressing it? Right. If you're not naming it and addressing it directly, and separating it from your own identity, then you're accepting it. So call the thing by name.
Right.
What is it? Right. You know, if it's rejection, call it by name. You know, that you're dealing with, and then address it. Rejection, you can't stay. You know, I'm you know, I accept myself. And so right. Say things, for example, to help you accept yourself, to build yourself up. You know, I am a leader, not a follower. I am better than I deserve. Yes. I am, you know, make it positive. Make it something that builds you up and not tear you down, but call it by name, address it. Don't, you know, by you covering it up and acting like it doesn't exist. It's covered up for a little bit. Sure. It's covered up for a little bit, but it won't last.
Right.
Because all you did is, like they say, sweep it under the rug for a little bit. So it's hidden. Yeah, for a little bit, but it's going to come back, and it's going to come back stronger and more powerful because you didn't deal with it when it was there. Right. So that's what I wanted to say. You want to add something?
Yeah. I was going to say, like, so something you could also do is not only name it as in like it's rejection or but you could also give it like a true name. Like your negative critic is like your Norman. So my real name is Gene, but my negative self-talk is Norman. Oh, so that's Norman talk. Okay. You know, so then what you got to do, you have to consciously like review what Norman is saying and find the truth in it, and then discard the extra stuff because it's you know, it's exaggerated. So maybe there is something in the nugget that Norman is saying, but you can't take it all on because you know it's exaggerated. So just take what is useful and then trash the rest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So not only are you're having the talk for yourself, but you're changing your position in it. You're giving yourself the power back by recognizing that, okay, this is not who I am. This is my negative self-talk trying to keep me in this one place. And I can circumnavigate that now because I realize, oh yeah. So all right, so about 10% of what Norman said is true. Okay. I can work on that. This other 90, just get out. We're gonna go to the left on that one. Go ahead, Norman. Get out there.
Yeah, don't ignore the negative because it's just gonna be covered up temporarily, and it's gonna come back.
You gotta address it. You gotta speak to it. So you gotta speak to the negativity. You gotta speak to the part of yourself that is not always happy.
Right.
It actually kind of disturbs me when I'm around people who are always cheery and no, that's not reality.
Yeah.
We all deal with our stuff. We all have our darkness. So when you suppress it, even in the public eye, it kind of makes me look at the person like, I don't know. Maybe they're not real. Because everybody has that darkness, man. Everybody has that inner critic, you know. So yeah, it's important to even show it in the world. You know, it's a vulnerability, but it's actually a superpower.
Yeah. So 4 ways to stop beating yourself up once and for all. How to talk back and regain your power. If you're like most people, you know your inner critic all too well. It is the voice in your head that judges you, doubts you, belittles you, and constantly tells you that you are not good enough. It says negative, hurtful things to you, things that you would never even dream of saying to anyone else. I'm such an idiot. I'm a phony. I never do anything right. I will never succeed. Those are all lies. And you have to accept the lie and not accept the lie, but you have to accept that it is a lie. And then speak the truth to yourself. Instead of saying, I am such an idiot, I am smart. Instead of I'm a phony, I am, what can you say?
Yeah.
You know,
I am my authentic self at all times.
that's very positive and edifying.
Right.
And if you say that enough, it will build you up. So those are just a few examples. I never do anything right. Come on.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we always do, uh, either we do things right or we don't, but we don't never do the right thing.
Exactly.
So that's trash.
Right.
Throw that away.
Right.
Go ahead.
Because anytime that you hear or use never or always, you know this BS. Because no one can always do or never do one thing. It's gonna be in there somewhere.
Yep. And then I will never succeed. Woo wee.
With proper work. Yeah, and so that what I was gonna say is like something that you could challenge that with is, well, anyone could be successful if they put in the work,
yes,
the time,
absolutely,
and are consistent with it. Anyone can be successful. So that's that. Automatically that's a BS statement.
Yeah. So those are just a few examples. Like it or not, everything you say to yourself matters. We just said that. Not in those words, though. Right. The inner critic isn't harmless. It inhibits you, limits you, and stops you from pursuing the life you truly want to live. It robs you of a peace of mind and emotional well-being. And if left unchecked long enough, it can lead to serious mental health problems like depression or anxiety. We never want to accept what the inner critic is saying. The critic is criticizing us constantly, putting us down and making us smaller than we are. So, and of course, leads to serious mental health problems, because you're not feeding yourself the right food to energize your mind and to put you in a better place of edification and encouragement and inspiration. Right. We can't pay attention to that inner voice. We have to recognize it and change what's happening. So the inner critic, did you want to add something?
Well, I was just going to say, like I said before, I think it's wise to listen to any voice, but not allow yourself to be caught up by it. Like I said before, 10% of what the inner critic said may be true, but take that and then trash the rest. And but ultimately, never anything that makes you feel like you are less than your highest version of yourself. Always feed yourself good food.
Mark. He said I have to stop listening to Bugs Bunny talking to me.
Listen to Daffy. It's Wabbit season.
Gene told me he was listening to Pepe Le Pew.
Where are you? I've been looking to find you.
So the inner critic can serve multiple purposes that on the surface might seem useful. It can make you feel like you are trying to do right in some way by wanting to be better, to achieve more. However, using self-criticism for these reasons instead of positive self-talk is the same as choosing a punishment over a reward. Yep. While punishment can deter certain behaviors in the short term, rewards are generally better for shaping new and lasting behavior. Yep. You want to add something?
No, I actually absolutely love that because it's very true. When you punish yourself, it's like when they had the prohibition era. You couldn't get alcohol, so guess what? Bootleggers went underground, and alcohol consumption went through the roof.
Yeah,
you can't stop. certain things. You can't stop. You if you punish yourself, you take something away from yourself cold turkey, then you end up creating a monster that is forever craving that. So feed yourself something positive as opposed to beating yourself up constantly, because then you create the vicious cycle of repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
Reward yourself. Hey, I didn't do so well, but I did good on this. All right, good job on that
Yep.
one. All right, now
Yep.
I'm doing better. And it's just it's a process.
Or if you give up alcohol, then become addicted to candy and sugar. Yep.
Or exercise. Addicted to exercise.
Yep. So that's a better thing to be addicted to, because that's what's going to be helpful and healthier in the long term.
Yeah, because human nature is addictive, by definition. Like we find that thing that feels good, even as it pertains to this inner voice thing. It may hurt to hear it, but you after you get so used to it, it's almost like a high. Feeding yourself that oh yeah, oh okay, I got my high now. You know what I mean? And it's like negative people. They're around positivity, it jacks them up. They don't know how to deal with it. So they got to tear up the positivity and inject the negative. And now, like, I got a high, drama high. Oh, okay. a little bump. Got a bump of adrenaline. Now I'm good. Okay. I created
Y'all pray for my child. Help me pray for my child.
A little bump of chaos. I'm good now.
Oh my goodness. All right. When you punish someone for what they do wrong, that doesn't teach them how to do it right. Imagine a small child learning to walk. If you scream at him and call him a little dummy every time he falls down, you can imagine that would have a negative impact. It would certainly have a very different effect than if you smiled and encouraged the child each time he took a step towards you. When your inner critic consistently labels you in a negative way, it has a demoralizing effect and shapes your larger self-concept about who you are and what you can do. So, just going back to this, when a child is learning to walk, every time they fall, you call them a little dummy, that's going to stop them from trying to walk. What is walking going to do for them? It's going to help them progress in life. It's going to help them get to the places they need to get to walking. But if you call them a little dummy every time they fall, they're going to stop trying. Who wants to keep trying when somebody is talking negatively about them and putting them down? I'm trying to walk and I fail, so you call me a little dummy instead of encouraging me, saying, come on, you can do it, you can do it. That feels so much better, and it gives you hope to get up and try it again. If you call me a little dummy, I'm not going to get up. I may not, after a while, I'm not going to get up and try to keep walking. I'm just going to stay down. They said I can't do it. Basically, I can't do it. And that's horrible. That's a great example. You want to add something?
Yeah, and also, so when you talk to children like that, you create that negative loop. You're feeding them harshly negative energy. First off, you're screaming. When anyone screams, it's like that's how you react. You go into fight or flight. You go into fight or flight. You heard that too?
Yep.
Okay.
What? I heard what you just said. Was there something else?
Sounded like it was typing or something, like loud typing on the.
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay. All right.
Mark, did you hear that? Go ahead, Gene. I didn't hear it.
So yeah, when you're talking to children negatively like that, you create the foundation for a loud negative inner critic. So it's important for you to give them the foundation by feeding them something positive, like you said. Cheer them on as they're taking those steps. It's something new. So kind of have a little grace.
Yeah,
they're learning. Who doesn't mess up when they learn?
Yeah.
Like, think about how you would like to have been, fed. when you were growing up, and
Yeah.
then give them the best version of what you wanted, as
Right.
opposed to giving them something that you hated and detested. And then that negative self-critic not only makes them bitter and resentful towards themselves, but it also makes them bitter and resentful towards you.
Right.
Because you're the one who created it.
Right.
You created that negative inner critic, which is the monster in the back of their head now.
Yeah.
It constantly repeats those things that you told them. Now it's going to build on it. It's going to build a house on that foundation that you created for it.
Yep. Yeah, that's really bad, and eventually it started causing other traumatic events in their lives, in their minds.
Right.
They're gonna constantly believe negative stuff about them and never be able to move forward because they're constantly holding on to the negative that they learned and were told and that they believed was true.
Yep.
So what if the critic is true? It doesn't matter. Negative self-talk is never, 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 never in your best interest. There's always a different, kinder, better way to treat yourself that doesn't involve negative labels and self-destructive mindsets.
Yes.
In any given situation, you can focus on what you did wrong or what you did well and what you can do better next time. So the best focus is focusing on what you did well and what you can do better next time.
Yes. And in that way you have balance.
Yeah.
You have balance. You have the positive reinforcement, and then you have the critique of yourself, because no one's perfect. We're always perfect. We are in the process of perfecting, but never reaching that point. So yeah, like you have that balance, and it constantly gives you the ability to grow from where you were when you started the situation to where you're going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally believe in giving myself positive reinforcement, and also being like, but I could have done this better.
Mm-hmm.
I could have done that better, but not so much so that I'm like, you're not good.
Yeah.
You're nothing. No, that's where you are. I try to stay away from polarities as much as possible. I don't want to be far left. I don't want to be black or white. I want to be somewhere in the middle. I want to be brown.
You so doggone silly.
You got the ultimate goal in life is to find that balance.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're constantly way left or way right, you'll never have any peace.
Yeah.
There's only chaos on both sides. But if you find the middle point, you find peace.
Yeah.
Anjali Mudra, which means peace. Take it from two extremes, you bring it into one, you combine both sides, and you have a beautiful balance.
Yeah. I used to, because I was so passive, while you were talking, this came to mind, because I was so passive for so many years, being around aggressive people was always hard for me. And so I used to always say, when I would get put down and talked down to, because I was so passive, I would be like, but you way over there, you too aggressive. You don't have to be like that. And I didn't say that to those people, but that's how I felt. So I used to always say there has to be a happy medium between my passiveness and their aggressiveness, because I'm too far passive and they're too far extremely aggressive. Right. I don't want to be like that. So, I feel like I finally have the balance between those. So, passive aggressive. I know when to be, aggressive when I need to be. And, a lot of things that people are aggressive in is not necessary, so I know I have a balance now and it feels great.
Yeah, I'm definitely closer to balance. I still find myself like maybe shorting myself. Like, for instance, I got a call from a colleague who wants me to train her, and I gotta travel 30 minutes away to get to her to train her, and it's like I only said $45. I should be charging 65.
Oh,
Yeah, I gotta go 30 minutes away. I gotta put $20 in the tank to get to you and back home. And I only made, so if I charge you that, then I only made $25. So, I still struggle with it, finding that balance of being, too accommodating, but it's a process. I'm better than I was for sure.
As you were saying that, Mark, balance is wonderful. And I'm more dangerous than Layla Ali. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right, and I can't have a mean left hook. I don't like to use it, but I can. So while you were talking about, about the situation, what you just said about, about your client not charging enough, brought back memories of when I used to sew for people. And I used to, just give my time away. I would go and I would buy the pattern, I would buy the fabric, and then I would do the work, create the garment, and then give it to them. But, I might have charged them $20 for all of that. And it might have cost me $20 plus, I'll say 4 to 10 hours that it took for me to make the garment. Right. So, you live and learn, right. And so, in the future, that's a thought that you will have, right. Well, I can't undercharge myself. I got to get something out of it. So, even though it may seem high to them, hey, if you want this service, this is what you got to do, right. Because I'm worth this. Yep. And so if you want this, you got to pay this. Right. So you'll get there. I'm a lot better with that than I used to be, but it was all because I was being too nice.
Right.
And so, like Mark said, you have to make a profit.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Can't spend more going than what's being paid. Right. Yeah. So you'll get there. So next time, you can tell her, hey, I undercharged you,
I'm telling now before I start training them. Listen, I might have to add $20 to that for gas to get to you and back home.
Right. And
now you're gonna work with me or you don't.
Right. Because if she don't, then somebody else will. But to take that into consideration in the future. All right. So you want to do the next part? I think we're at the inner critic concern.
Yes. All right. So following are the 4 steps that will help you silence the inner critic. First and foremost, notice the critic.
Hold on a second. I think you skipped some stuff.
I did.
Yeah. We were at.
What if the critic is true? I thought we did that already. Yeah, we did, because we talked about the balance of
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. Go ahead.
All good, man. I was on top of it.
I should have known that. I don't know. Silly me. What was I thinking? Whatever.
You gotta trust me sometimes, Mom.
I already know you got me. I don't know what happened. All right, I'm back to me. Go ahead.
We back. All right, boys. All right. All right. So first and foremost, notice the critic. To gain control over your inner critic, you have to first be aware of it. Acknowledgement is the first step to recovery. You say that often here. Hey, never been there, but I know it well. Anyway, during every conscious moment, we have an inner dialogue with ourselves. Much of our thinking is so automatic and happening so rapidly that we barely notice it before we move on to the next step. Making the conscious effort to slow down and pay more attention to your thoughts will help you notice when the critic is present. Your emotions will also cue you, yes, energy and motion, will cue you to the presence of the critic. Negative emotions such as doubt, guilt, shame, and worthlessness are almost always signs of the critic at work. A good exercise to try for 1 week is to simply keep an inner critic log. That's very wise. I like that. Either in a small notebook or on your phone. You know, I like to use my notes a lot in my phone.
Yeah.
Every time you notice yourself being self-critical, just note 2 or 3 words about the situation. Got up late, meeting with boss, fight with mom, lunch choices, and what the criticism was. I'm lazy, I'm a bad employee, I'm not a good daughter or son. I have no self-control, you know, things of that sort. Once you are aware of the critical voice, you will be in a position to stand up to it. So, and I love that because what that is saying is you are creating self-awareness. You're very aware of what's going on in your mind, and you're logging it so that in your regular life now you hear that critic or you feel those things and okay.
Yep.
Okay, I'm allowing myself to go down that rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
Yep.
So let's reverse. Let's go back. Go back to positive. All right, guys. I made a mistake. Let's do it again. Reload it.
That is good, because at some point you should get tired of writing the, you know, critical things about you. And so you acknowledge it right away, and you know, that helps you to acknowledge it quicker, you know, in the future, and to say, no, like you said, you know, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. So that's what it's about, you know. So go ahead.
Yeah. I was also going to add to that meditation helps with that a lot, because in meditation, a lot of people think you're just sitting there doing nothing, but actually what you're doing is you're sitting in a space of total awareness, and you're paying attention to the thoughts that are going through your head. Now, you're not trying to stop them. You're letting them flow. So you're actually just watching the movie of your mind. And what that does is like this practice is suggested, is making you very aware of the thoughts that run through your head on the regular. Because I mean, when you go into meditation, everything else is quiet, and you're there with your thoughts. You are right in front of that mirror, and you have to be there. Like, you have no choice. And that's why a lot of times meditation is uncomfortable for people, because they have to sit with their own thoughts. You know, without respite, you know, for whatever time you're in that meditation. And again, the mind moves 1,000,000 miles a minute. Like, you could have 15 thoughts in 1 minute.
Yeah.
In one.
Yeah.
So just being absolutely aware and cognizant and present with your thoughts is a big thing. And that's how, again, with this, it would just enhance it. It would enhance that practice.
Yeah. That's good. So separate the critic from you is number 2. The inner critic doesn't want you to notice it. It thrives best when you mistake it for being part of your authentic self. However, you weren't born with an inner critic. The critic is a voice that you have internalized based on outside influences and learning, such as other people's criticism, expectations, or standards.
Yep.
So I'm going to stop right there for just a second. Go back to that baby, that conversation, what we just talked about, the baby learning to walk and falling and being told, you little dummy, or whatever it said, you know, instead of saying, come on, get up, try it again, you can do it, you know, the encouragement.
Right.
So those are things that you internalize. They're outside influences that we're learning from. It's other people's criticisms, expectations and standards about us. That is what is being put in you. And that's what you're internalizing. So one way to separate from the critic is to give it a name. Jean said that. Any name will work. To add some levity, you might even try using a silly name like the old hag.
I like that. Like that. That old hag.
What is important is that by separating it from your own identity, you are on your way to freeing yourself from its influences. From its influence, article continues. So you're able to free yourself from its influences. So I've heard people like, say, you know, their real name, like, for me, you know, you don't want to see, I don't know which way to say it, but you don't want to see Stephanie. You want to keep Stephanie. You don't want to see Steph.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There's levels to this personality, man. There's a nice version.
So I'm trying to keep Steph at bay, but y'all keep on keeping on. This was funny to me, and it was funny when I said it, but I was mad and I was trying to make myself laugh because of something that happened at work. They made me mad, right? So I was like, I can't stay in this place in my mind because I was getting more and more mad because of the stuff that was happening. So I went over to this young dude, the one I told you I called son. He's 26. I went over to him and I said, son, they tested my gangster.
Which I don't know if she got Thug Life tattooed over her name.
So we both bust out laughing. He said, Ma, you a savage. You're a savage. He said, anyway, I ain't going to say the rest of what he said because he started cussing, but it was hilarious because he was like, man, I can't believe you said that. When I looked up the word savage, I was like, I'm going to have to tell him, don't be calling me no savage. But anyway, so I was telling him, not right then, because we were so busy laughing about me being so silly. It just surprised him, some of the stuff that I say sometimes. But I was telling him, he was telling me, get you some weave and put in your hair and, just in case you had to start fighting. But anyway, it was a mess.
Okay.
But I was like, you know what? I can get ghetto too, or I can get, act a fool just like anybody else.
Yeah, no.
But I don't want to.
Sometimes I shoot up the club. Sometimes I don't. All depends on which version of me came out today.
So I was just saying, I don't want to act a fool. They trying to take me out of character. I don't want to be out of character. They testing my gangster.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Right. So anyway, I just had to add that because I still think it's funny. But I find ways sometimes to make me laugh when it's a bad situation. Now my lighting just messed up. I find myself, making myself laugh because I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be sad. So I have to find something to help me get myself together. Yep. So anyway, Gene, gone with the next part, or add whatever you want to add. I done messed up my lighting, talking trash. See, that's why I gotta watch what I say.
The technology God said you have been punished.
You ain't talking right. You ain't acting right. Listen, I'm gonna have to cut your light. I'll put you in the dark.
You don't want to see dark stuff.
All right, I'm act right. I'm cool.
I'm sorry. Okay.
If you're trying to teach people how to act right, you can't act a fool. You see that the light turned off.
No, that was dark stuff. You was in the dark.
Okay, I'm cool now. Mark said that was the dark forces putting you in the dark, not the light force.
There you go, exactly. You was on the dark side, Mike. You was on the dark side.
I'm gonna act right now. I'm gonna act right now. I'm cool. Okay, I'm cool now. Mark said that was the dark forces putting you in the dark, not the light force. You was on the dark side, Mike. You was on the dark side. I'm gonna act right now. I'm gonna act right now. I'm cool. 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 I'm gonna act
All right. So number 3 is talk back. Talking back to your inner critic is an important part of taking away its power. Simply telling the critic you don't want to hear what it has to say begins to give you a sense of choice in the matter.
Yep.
When you hear the inner critic start to speak, tell it to go away. Tell it you refuse to listen. Tell it that you know it is a liar. Tell it that you are choosing instead to be kind to yourself.
Yep.
Man, that's taking back that power.
Yep. Steph, you can't stay. You got to go. Stephanie, we need you in the room.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Lock it down now. Come on, President Steph. President Stephanie. Get Steph out the room. She wilding. She thugging over here.
Right.
She got her bandanas and stuff, and she throwing up gang signs and stuff. She's stacking on, you know.
Y'all brought me to this place. This ain't who y'all really want now.
You thought you did. Until that Negro stepped out of the room. It's like, oh, ooh, I'm sorry. No, you brought me out now. What's up?
Yep.
You know, that face gets slanted and stuff. You know, it's serious. Oh no, you got his neck turned sideways. It's over.
All right, let's go with number 4 because we're almost out of time.
Right. Okay. And 4, you want to replace the critic, or like we said before, replace that loop in your head. The best way to defeat the critic is to have an even stronger ally on your side. You need to grow an inner voice that acts as your own best friend. In order to do this, you need to start noticing the good things about yourself and note them constantly. No matter what the inner critic has told you, you do have positive traits, although it may take you some effort to retrain yourself to see them. Because of the way our brain works, we all have an automatic selective filtering system that will look for evidence in your environment that matches up with whatever we believe to be true about ourselves. Again, you're creating your own reality by your thoughts.
Yep.
We will then disregard other evidence to the contrary. If you are always saying to yourself, I'm an idiot, you might actually do a lot of smart things, but you will still zero in on the small mistakes you make, i.e., locking your keys in the car, or silly stuff that everybody does.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are just, hey, I had a bloop. Okay. Man, listen, I done locked my keys in my car. Got to pay attention more next time.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Yeah.
You will fixate on those things because they match up with what you say to yourself. So to break this automatic tendency, you have to first make the deliberate effort to say something different to yourself and then actively search for evidence that the new statement is true. When you hear your critic saying, I'm an idiot, talk back and tell the critic that isn't true. Then replace the statement with something you know to be true, such as, sometimes I do smart things, and come up with as many examples as you can to support this new statement. The critic doesn't like to be wrong. The more examples you come up with to support your alternate view, the less it will come around.
That's awesome.
The jewels, baby. It's the jewels.
Yes. I like that. I like that. To come up with examples. So, I do smart things because I remember to lock my door this morning, or I remember to keep my keys in my pocket, or, those are just little things, but, because it's changing your focus,
right?
Of what you're doing wrong or what you've done wrong to what you've done right. Let me focus on the good things that I've done. Let me remember the good things that I've done so that I'm changing my focus and ultimately changing the atmosphere of what you believe, and so that's a great example. You want to add anything?
Yeah, for sure. Also, I think it's really important. We often say, treat others like we want to be treated, but the big thing is that we have to treat ourselves well. Give yourself some grace, man. You know, one of the things that I've learned to do over the years is to laugh at myself. If I make mistakes, you know, I'm gonna laugh about it. Be like, all right, come on, Gene, you wake up. You know what I mean? You know, you laugh about it. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't make it a thing. Oh, I'm this because I made this mistake. No, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Self grace. Be merciful to yourself. And then it's easy to give that mercy to everybody else because you gave it to yourself first.
Right.
We are an example of what we give to ourselves. You know, if we're impatient and, you know, negative and destructive to ourselves, then we can't help but to magnetize ourselves to that type of energy from the outside world coming to us. So we have to be cognizant of the gravitational pull that we create with the thoughts that we tell ourselves. Also, be gracious. Players mess up, man. Play it to yourself. I'm gonna play it on. I'm gonna play it on. Look at this. But you gotta be like that with yourself, though. Seriously. Like it sounds silly, but it's factual. You have to give yourself grace. Can't be so caught. I have to do everything right. Then you never do anything right, even if you do it right. Because in your head, there's always that critic that's yelling at you. Well, you messed up on his part, so. But what about the stuff I did good, player? Yeah. But if you don't back up on me, though. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, I saw him. He was right there.
Y'all, we hope that this has helped and has brought your attention to perhaps the negative talk that you have been negative self-talk that you have allowed in your life. To replay over and over again in your mind. This certainly has helped me to pay attention to the negative inner voice that I hear and to start saying, to replace it with the positive self-talk that's building me up and edifying me. I mean, you hear about this, you know, but this has really helped me to learn to, you know, not just recognize it, but to do something about it, and then giving me tips on what to do about it. So I'm grateful that we had this discussion about self-talk. You want to add anything else?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, just be gracious with yourself at all times. You know, don't beat yourself up because it's not necessary. I mean, everyone makes mistakes. And, you know, that's just part of life. You learn from those mistakes if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
So, you know, and again, be very cognizant of who you let into your space because they either feed you whatever energy that you're already putting out. So first off, be cognizant of what you're putting out. Second off, be cognizant of the circle that you keep because again, it creates your mindset and creates the world around you. So just love on yourself, man. Life is hard. Life is going to always give you challenges because challenges make you stronger.
Yes.
So I have to tell myself that all the time.
Challenges make you stronger if you desire to learn from them.
Facts.
Yeah.
Because you could be stuck in it and repeat the same cycles over and over again.
Right. And that's what's going to happen is you're going to repeat it over and over again until you actually do learn from it.
Factual.
So we... you giving yourself a round of applause? All right. All right, y'all. This is the end of our show. Again, we hope you have learned from this. We hope this has provided good tips for you and has been very informative. Thank you for joining our show. We send you away with peace. There he goes applauding himself. That's what Mark said. Peace, love, 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 love. We send you joy and happiness. And remember, treat others the way you want to be treated and be kind to others. Take care. Bye for now. See you next week. Same place, same time. 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, Sunday. Every Sunday. Bye for now.